My name is Lolo DePuzzlo, and this is Media Delta. It's December, at least when you're hearing this. And December is a perfect opportunity for, there's a special kind of thing that you tend to watch in December. And we're, of course, going to be doing that for Media Delta. And by that, I mean taking a look at manga UK dubs.
Yeah, my favorite part of December, November 18th.
Yes. Yep. I mean, when people are listening to this, it will be December something. I think it was December.
It's November, and it was 65 degrees out, and I had both my windows open the entire day.
It was freezing out today, and I didn't wear a jacket like an idiot.
But manga UK.
Yes. Yeah. So rather than do a standard thing that we do for Christmas or like the holiday season, I decided to do a trio of something. And I had a poll on my server, and the thing that won that people didn't know quite what it was taking a look at things that are by Manga UK because, well, I'm not even saying Manga UK. There is more looking at a very specific time frame of anime, specifically English anime or English language anime, because the early 90s were pretty much right when anime started to come out over here in more bulk. There's obviously been releases before, like probably early mid 90s, but that was when you had things like Manga UK and like a few other smaller things that were bringing over kind of things like, the Slayers technically would be like later in that genre, but or later in that kind of period, but Manga UK was one of the biggest, I don't know if they were one of the biggest, but they were one of the more notable publishers / translators of, anime and such. And
they did a lot of stuff in a very weird time span.
Yeah. The thing is that the 90s were the 90s, and that meant that things, if you especially think about comics of the 90s, that was the dark, edgy phase, or that was when a lot of dark, edgy stuff was happening, which kind of got reflected in the kind of things that got brought over here. For example, what we were talking about today, which is a OVA series called Cyber City Oedo 808, which is a great name because it's just really fun to say. That it's great when you watch it. Like, multiple people that were watching this were like, "Oh, this definitely looks like a anime from the 80s," but it was from the 90s. This is part of generally there is a kind of sort of trio / quad of OVAs that are well known for being of this particular type. Cyber City 80808, Wicked City, Goku Midnight Eye, which we'll be looking at later on this December.
Demon City Shinjuku.
And Demon City Shinjuku is, that's
another one. Angel Cop.
Angel Cop's also in there, which thankfully the English one fixed. The English dub fixes something about that one.
You could also argue that Bubblegum Crisis is part of that too.
Bubblegum Crisis has the distinction though of actually being quality.
Both new and old Bubblegum Crisis is the funny thing.
Yes.
But again, Bubblegum Crisis is actually quality.
Yeah, there is actual, we'll get into this, but there is a charm to this, so to speak.
A trashiness.
Yes. So before we kind of get into our impressions, I was not the only one who watched this, so please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Axe, and I am a vampire.
Hi, I'm Carnival, and I've got the bomb collars. Why do they make these?
Hi, I'm Risen, and I wouldn't recognize a goddamn podcast who had jumped up and bit me on the end of my fucking dick.
It's beautiful.
Hi, I'm Torpid Typist, and me being here still won't take any time off of my long 300-year prison sentence.
Yes, your cyber sentence and cyber jail and cyber
Yeah,
future.
because I'm a cyber criminal working for the cyber police.
Look, it's
In the city of
Cyber
Oedo.
Tokyo. Cyber Tokyo.
Yo, it's Oedo.
God,
Oh, at all.
Cyber City Oedo.
this is actually just a Japanese version of Cops.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the animated series. You need to specify the animated series.
This is the Japanese version of C.O.P.S.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting crime in the future times. God.
Exactly.
God.
Wait, I love backronyms. The Central Organization of Police Specialists.
That show sucks.
It was
Yeah.
so fucking terrible. But either way, this was not.
Yeah, so to kind of give a brief synopsis of what this thing is, the show focuses on a trio of cyber criminals that are serving like multiple life sentences, and they're given, or they're basically saying, hey, if you can either sit here in jail or you can help the cyber cops with dirtier tasks. And each time you do it correctly, you'll get time taken off your sentence.
Except you usually don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Um,
oh, you didn't do it as specifically how I wanted it. You might have saved the day, but you didn't do it as I ordered. Which
You
probably
sassed your commanding
Worse.
officer, so you don't actually get any time shaved off your 300-year sentence.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Benton, you may have saved the whole city, but you didn't say hello to that one woman you passed on the street, so you've got 200 more years on your cybercrime record.
Yeah. Um.
Doesn't- Commanding officer is the sleaziest looking motherfucker outside of some of the villains.
His
Yeah.
hair is like grease to hell and back.
Yep.
Yeah.
He reminded me of the commanding officer from Area 88, except if he was a douchebag.
Yeah,
Um.
basically.
But yeah. I think we probably should just kind of dive straight into impressions for this one. So, does anyone in particular want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
General impressions. I liked it. I think it's neat. Obviously the manga UK dubbers took a very liberal interpretation, but I think it probably made it more interesting overall. The subtitles that we were using was very more literal, and they were kind of boring for it.
Yeah, they don't call anyone shitwit.
Yeah, they do not call anyone shitwit, dumbass, or anything. It's kind of boring. The relationship between the cyber criminals, their little robot helper, and their commanding officer seemed a lot more tame and everything, whereas you could definitely feel in the dub that they are much more hostile to each other.
They're much more hostile in general.
Yeah. Like everyone is swearing. It's constant. It's kind of funny. Because you always want to know what combination of swears they're gonna like come up with next, and so you just want to keep watching.
Also, like, all things considered, this is definitely one of the better looking ones from around this time.
Yeah.
I actually found out why because I was looking
What?
up on Wikipedia. I was like, yeah, because this looks really good, and it's like, oh, looking at studio, yeah, this was Madhouse.
There you
Okay,
go.
yeah, that explains it.
The characters are all very distinct and everything. Even though they're all swearing, they have their own mannerisms and everything. Like, the way that Shingoku swears is different from the way that Gogol swears, which is different from the way that Benton swears.
Sengoku really likes saying shitwit.
Yeah, that's his like catchphrase. He's like, "I'm gonna bust you, shitwit, because I'm a cyber cop," and everyone cheers. But no, I thought it was a very interesting take on cyberpunk. It was I'd say maybe a little mystical, because there's
The vampire virus.
there's a vampire virus. There's
Esper shit.
Yeah, a telepathic cyborg super soldier. There's basically a data lich in the first episode. Yeah, it's all interesting stuff.
Yeah, you would like that as a 40k lover, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. I have a taste. Don't worry about it.
Also, okay. So I just happened because I was looking at something in the background, and I happened to go into the Japanese page for this show.
Mhm.
Oedo is an acronym, as it turns out.
Oh,
It is this is Google Translate giving it to. Wait, is it? No. Okay, so it's actually in English. So Oedo, which is Oriental Electric Darwinism Oasis.
Duh.
Oh, that's perfect. That's amazing.
It was the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 90s.
That's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, it's great because I'm looking at the page and like Google just gives it to me in English because like it's Chrome, so it just auto translates. And I'm like, oh, that has to be Google Translate. No, that's like the one thing on this page that's in English.
look, man, it's just it's Cyber Tokyo.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
It's even got Edo in the name.
Yep.
Cyber Tokyo with a couple extra space elevators, yeah.
It's a single space elevator, and also a giant building that pierces the heavens.
Oh yeah, that's right. The space elevator is separate from the building that pierces the heavens. Because they have the elevator to the medical facility in the third one, right? But that's separate from the building in the first one. That should not be standing anymore.
Oh yeah, no, it completely separated from the foundation, but it's fine. They righted it.
Mm-hmm. They turned the gyro back on. It's all fine, everybody. Don't worry about it. I do think that the villains were interesting. The villain in the first one had like contingency plans and everything. You know, it wasn't just that he turned off the gyroscope, protecting the building. He was also going to shoot a space laser at it too.
He also did it because he was incredibly fucking petty.
Yeah. To be fair,
He did get murdered, it's true.
he did get murdered, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's great. He was willing to level the city, kill thousands upon thousands of people, just so he could kill the dude who killed him.
Mm-hmm.
The dude who killed him because the guy was a genius. The dude who killed him felt like he was falling behind and could never shine in his shadow.
Mm-hmm. The dangers of I don't know, would that technically be imposter syndrome?
No, it's inferiority complex.
Yeah, that's definitely inferiority.
Yeah. I think that covers my general takes.
All right. Anyone want to go next?
I can go next.
All right.
So, Cyber City 0808, to clarify, is an OVA of 3 episodes, each of which are like, what, 40 minutes long?
I think the first
45?
one's slightly longer than the others, but
40,
yes.
45, yeah.
But yeah, they're all separate stories, and they're all basically highlight one specific character. The first one being Sengoku, which is weird because it's the only one that isn't a personal story. And then the other one, the second episode is Gogol, which is spelled goggle, I might add.
I imagine. I wonder if that has to be like a
I think
transliteration.
it's a translation thing.
Well, I was wondering if it's supposed to be like Google, like the
The subtitles
number.
call them goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just may be the way
Oh,
they,
right, yeah.
translate it from Japanese.
Oh,
Either
yes,
way.
that makes sense.
And the third one was about Benton. Each of the characters is their own breed of edgelord, though Gogol, the giant one with huge scars, a mohawk, and sweet cyber goggles, is actually like the most grounded and relatively chill, and also the smartest one of the 3. He is the fucking shit-hot hacker compared to Sengoku, who is nothing but muscle and shittery, and Benton, who is also nothing but muscle but tries to hide it.
The best way to describe Benton is a Sailor Moon villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though he
Yeah,
looks
that
like
checks
he
out.
belongs in a fucking visual K band.
That too.
Mm-hmm.
But also he's voiced by Solaire from
He is
Dark
voiced.
Souls.
Yeah.
He is voiced by Daniel Flynn, who was in a number of these in these
Ancient animes.
manga UK.
Look, man, there's like 5 actors in the UK, okay? Like 5 voice actors, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
They take what they can get.
And apparently, he was also in a number of British TV shows, like live action TV shows.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds right. But
His
yeah,
brother
so,
also was in Game of Thrones.
man, so they each have their own distinct personalities. Benton is actually slightly more subdued with his swearing than the other two. It's kind of surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Sengoku is definitely the most hot-headed of the group, far and away. Him and his big fucking gun. Huge goddamn
gun.
revolver. Whereas Gogol is a shit hot hacker, and then Benton uses wire.
Mm-hmm.
Monofilament.
Yeah, I was
baby.
gonna say it's like post Shadowrun. So yes, monofilament wire.
It's straight it even comes out of the ring and everything. Yeah, no, it's great.
No, this is post Neuromancer.
All right, Neuromancer, yes,
Don't give
'Cause
Shadowrun any credit for anything it didn't do.
this is true.
But yeah, so the show itself it's pretty standard fare, plot wise, as
Mhm.
far as those sorts of things go. It's not gonna knock your socks off, but it is a fun journey the whole way. And I do agree with Risen. I think the manga UK dub is fucking intensely crass as it is, in utterly like completely littered with swears. Which, I mean, I have no room to talk.
Same.
I think that gave it a bit of texture, honestly, that it wouldn't otherwise have. It definitely, I think, lent to the characters a bit more. It made them feel, a bit more gruff and a bit more like more anti-hero than they did before. But yeah, I think it's really fun. The first one covers the Cyber Lich. The second episode covers a secret military project that is, in fact, some Esper bullshit. And then the third episode is just, it's about future vampires. But it's not actually a vampire. It's just a virus that increases one's latent psychic powers. It also stops blood production, so they need to drink it?
Drink the blood.
Instead of, getting it intravenously, but, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's sweet cyber vampires. And it's all pretty... It's got a powerful aesthetic the whole way through that really sticks by, which is pretty evocative of, like, the rest of these sorts of things from around the time, but I still quite enjoy it. I will forever have, like, a soft spot for this, like, special breed of sort of trashy anime. So that's basically that's how I've always felt about it, though. Like, I enjoy this sort of thing. I don't know why. Just have a soft spot, even if it's before my time. But yeah, so the characters are fun. It's pretty standard cyberpunk fare, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I think it was pretty fun overall. It also looked, once again, pretty good. Each of the characters were distinct. They had their own distinct silhouettes too, which is actually very important. And they all had their own color schemes too. Like, they all had their own separate palettes as well that helped separate. Like, there was actually a surprisingly decent character design that went into this, in my opinion. Like, design sense, I should say. And I thought that also helped lend to the characters. But overall, yeah, I would say it was a very fun, enjoyable experience. And I'm glad this was my second time watching it.
All right. Anyone else want to go next?
I'll go. So, yeah, this is my second time watching it as well. I thoroughly enjoy this because it very much, at least the dub, understands that this is what it is and doesn't try to do those high reaches for things that it knows it's not going to. So it at least admits that it's going to just time to go for a good, just fun ride.
It's pure schlock and it revels in it, yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that aspect of it, and additionally, I kind of also agree just seeing I'm sure there's a bunch of, us reading subtitles thus doesn't give us some of the clarity of things, but, the manga UK dub is certainly more memorable and interesting just because it, again, creates a kind of character to it. But most of my general impressions have already been said, so I'll stop there for later.
All right. I think Axe. I think we're you're next up.
All right. Well, so I'm conflicted on this because On one hand, I see the memes. I see some because I've seen a couple of these memes floating around. So seeing where they come from, it's kind of interesting. At the same time, I kind of have a hard limit on just how much swearing I can take before I just completely lose interest. Like the amount of swearing this is so over the top and so excessive that it kind of starts off a little bit, trashy kind of, like and then it just I don't know, it's like what if Lewis Black but like not funny, if that makes sense, cuz he curses a lot and I don't know, it's just I'm trying not to get too hung up on the dub. I think the dub was really poor. And aside from the few funny, memeable moments, I thought it was absolute a garbage fire. And I didn't particularly like it at all, so I guess I'm kind of on the outside on that one. But at the same time, I like the idea. The idea that there's these criminals and to take time off of their sentence, they've got to, capture other criminals and stop crimes and
Usually kill them. Usually murder them.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the intent is still there, and it's still like, and the plots are interesting. It's not just okay, I'm gonna bomb this plant and that'll show them. No, a lot of these plots that get a little, they have these intricacies to them. I think the first one was the psychic robot soldiers.
That was the second.
That was the second. Okay, because then those two episodes apparently bled together for me.
The first one was the hacker who became a cyber lich.
Okay.
It was, because there wasn't a good split between the two episodes.
Which isn't a big deal. But, I mean, all three episodes were interesting. Their plots were interesting. There was a lot more depth to the plots than I was expecting. The animation quality was actually pretty good. And,
it was real fun they cut the cell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because there was when was the thing where there was like it was very clear that they just did because that guy's head came off in a really weird kind of,
which made me think of Golgo, and I was like, well, at least they didn't shove a grenade in there.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned Golgo because it was surprisingly like not super sexual.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was something that because the thing is that especially when we get to Goku Midnight Eye, and it's a theme that's with a lot more of these particular things, especially if you think of things like Ninja Scroll, which is almost outside of this thing getting really close to porn, but that's just how that one was.
This is the same director's Ninja Scroll, so...
Okay, also, you're misremembering Ninja Scroll, because believe me,
it goes
not as much as you think. It's also very bad, though, in different ways.
Yes.
But yeah, no, this show was very much not... there was nothing really overtly sexual. Benton was the one with the wire, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That character on their own had this kind of like... There's definitely a sexual energy about the character, but it wasn't one that was forced upon anyone, and it wasn't really something that they really did anything with. It was just purely a sexual aesthetic.
Right.
But they did very good with it. I mean, the characters' movements were very, nimble and quick, and even the weapon they use is essentially a type of Garrett, which is an extremely intimate way to kill someone is with a Garrett. So the way the character's designed and all the themes around them, I found very interesting.
I will say too that the most sexual thing that happens is at one time Benton is running around the city asking people about the vampire. At one point he talks to a sex worker who's just topless for some reason, but you never actually see full frontal or anything. And she's straight up like, you want to have a time together? You look pretty cute. And he's like, nah, just fucking leaves.
Yep.
Especially there is a character design, especially in the episode 3, that it was actually giving me a little bit of Space Cobra vibes.
Yeah.
That
oh
one,
yes, her.
yeah, that show, like Space Cobra, is incredibly sexually charged, but it's done in a way that it's not super skeevy, which this is a much toned down version of that.
I mean, her aesthetic was like a cross between fucking Cobra in Dirty Pair and also a bit of like Fist of the North Star thrown in for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her lack of a pant leg was pretty funny, yeah.
But overall, I mean, if you put the dub aside and you just listen to like the regular Japanese version, I think it would be a lot better. Like I said, I just feel the dub was a little too infantile for me. Not that. So that, to clarify, cursing doesn't make someone infantile, but there's like a line for me where at a certain point you've done it so much in such a short space of time. That's when it kind of feels infantile to me because it's
baby
not
is
being
me.
used.
Nothing, go on.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
No, I just said the baby is me.
Well, yeah, I am
Baby.
thinking about you in this regard because I know well, we all know you. You curse a lot, but like your method of cursing isn't saying fuck every sentence. Like there's
No.
a beat to when you say a swear. It has purpose, it has meaning. And the way that this dub was done is this was just
Always
literally every sentence had a swear.
stop, just walls of cusses.
Mm-hmm.
I will say to also back you up, the translation is bad. It's
Yeah.
very
It is.
it is incredibly unfaithful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a
Like-
shame because it is such a sticking point, but I don't feel it overshadows the show's good points, the interesting characters, the different palettes that they use for the characters to keep them, distinguished from one another, their styles of combat, their approaches to different situations. All the characters have unique, they're just all unique, and it is a very well drawn and well written series. It just falters under some really bad translation and extremely awful dubbing. That's what I got.
Yeah. That was very much, as I kind of mentioned earlier, that was Manga UK's kind of major like claim to fame. It's that problem of this was even as comparison to video, like in a video game sense, this was that time where localization was not, there weren't any like real standout case studies of how to do a really good localization. And I think one of the things about why they might have done that was to prevent the thing of, because I'm just trying to think about how this would have been distributed, because potentially adding the extra, because this is also right around, like, there weren't a whole lot of quote unquote adult animation at this point. And the fact that this is right when anime was coming over, so the additional fanny could have been there to act as a just another a thing to put on there to say, hey, this is not for children. Don't rent this. Don't see that, oh, it's a cartoon and think that it goes for your kid. No, this is not a kid's show at all. That, and also, as I mentioned, this was the 90s. So that was just another thing in vogue.
I mean, there's also the case of like to compare it to video games, there's also Working Designs was
Yes.
a pretty famous one that like a lot of people were like, translation was really good, but actually in hindsight, the translations were kind of not very good at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they would straight up swap out a lot of dialogue, but it's different standards for a different time when translation work was a lot more, put it kindly, dodgy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That being said, I think this is a pretty decent little OVA. I don't know if this was meant to be a series, like I know some of these OVAs kind of tend to be, like they're kind of acting as glorified pilots. This is a good little set of episodes. It doesn't wear out its welcome. Uh, I don't really have anything specific to say about it. It does look very good. The artist or the designer for this show, who is one Juzo Mitsuki, does have previous work, especially as a mechanical supervisor. He actually did the I'm guessing he was mechanical supervisor, according to IMDb, for a show called Genesis Climber Moss Beta, which, if you are familiar with particular mecha anime, you might recognize that show. That was one of the 3 shows that was compiled as Robotech over here. A very notable, considering that's in the same 3 as Macross was, a very well done, especially for the time, mecha show. And he's done a few other things, but nothing really stand out other than Mospeda.
I also do want to say one other thing, going back to what I said before about translations. That doesn't mean it's acceptable, because, like, to talk about actually even similar genre, Animego did a fucking incredible job with Bubblegum Crisis, and
Yes.
I cannot emphasize that enough.
Yeah, Anime Ego was the other major anime distributor at the time. But yeah, brought over Bubblegum Crisis, stuff like, because like this is the same year, I believe that Cyber City I believe came out mid 90s, and then stuff that Anime Ego was bringing out, which they brought over Yuritsei Yuritsura around this time, Bubblegum Crisis and Crash, Writing Bean.
Oh my goddess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh my
Yeah.
God. I keep on forgetting that thing exists.
Yeah, no, they did a lot of good work, and it's just interesting to compare them to this, which is very, very much a different approach.
Yeah. But yeah, the working designs is a really good comparison. The exception of this one, no, it's not to use certain slurs.
Yeah, that's the thing. It wasn't really like slur usage. It was just, except for maybe like one, I think.
I don't remember any particular. The one thing that was really weird, and I think this is the problem of a Japanese designer using English in a way that's not exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that wasn't Manga UK's fault.
Yeah.
Just say that now.
So yes. So there is. So when they introduce characters a lot, they have a very kind of set splash screen for the characters.
Their individual profiles, but that also lists heritage.
Yes, it lists heritage and like what their genetic makeup is. And some of the terms that are there are archaic, to say the least.
Yeah.
Dated is a very kind way of putting it, yes. But once again, I feel like that was the Japanese not quite understanding it.
Yes, that is very much you tried to find a particular term in a very old dictionary or translation dictionary, and it set you down bad paths.
Yep.
No. Forensic science still uses these terms.
Yeah. No, it's still bad.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not, or anything. It's just, no, this isn't archaic. This is still terms that people use today, unfortunately.
I mean, yes, but their mistake is looking something up and not having context, whereas the forensic scientist should know better.
The forensic science is maybe a racist.
Yeah, but as I was saying, it is surprising that there's actually no real slurs in it. It's just a lot of like fucking shit and combinations thereof.
Shitwit, yeah.
It's actually kind of surprising. Like, they don't even drop like the R word or anything.
No.
Yeah.
Which is pretty common around that time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of working designs.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think anyone really questions Benton and his Bishi appearance either.
That is one thing I was kind of thinking in the background, is that I'm very surprised that there was one that there was a line that was like almost kind of going there, but even then that one wasn't even like it didn't go that direction, which is surprising. But yes. Does anyone have any other things they'd want to kind of say about it? So I do have one because I'm looking at the chart, and there's one thing I do want to point out.
Go on.
Yeah. So if you have photophobia,
Oh god, yes.
Yeah.
there is a lot of flashing.
It's a fucking bad habit from around this time where a lot of animes in particular would use like quick, rapid strobing, like flashing lights for screens to denote that they are, CRTs and the like, and just computer screens. And it's bad.
Yep.
I straight up had to look away because I was getting a headache at points. So yeah, that is something to note. Is there is a big flashing light problem in that show, like real big. Just remember, poor Porygon took the shot for Pikachu, but Pikachu changed the industry.
We should ban Pikachu. Shit Pokemon that send many kids to the hospital.
All it took was 800 children going to the hospital for there to be a huge shift in the way they handle flashing lights in anime.
Yeah.
A small price to pay.
Yep. Okay, did anyone have anything else?
No, not really.
Nope.
Yeah, I said my piece.
Actually, got anything?
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and rank this. So we're going to rank this using our normal 1 to 21 scale, with 1 being absolute mastercraft, very hard to get any better, to 21, which is very not great, very little you could even get out of it, even in an ironic sense. So, X, where would you put this on our scale?
8 or 9.
All right. Carnival.
7 or 8.
All right. Prison.
I think 8 or 9. I think I'd probably watch, this on the same level as Area 88 or something, yeah.
All right, Torpo.
Let me look at the list quick. Fucking hey, goddamn people yelling. I was thinking maybe like 6 or 7 personally.
6 or 7?
Like it's not gonna blow your mind. It's nothing exceptional, but it's a fun ride.
Yeah.
I could see 7.
Yeah, I could see it being on par with like Space Cobra.
Yeah. Well, that's 6. Yeah.
I said 6 or 7.
All right.
Yeah. I would watch this before Neck Arcade.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I didn't have a real good place. The blue, I think, would be a good section, which is 7, 8, 9. Since it's the kind of the number that kind of showed up the most often, let's look at 8. Start out with, let's see, in 8 we got Area 88, Digimon the Movie, Lupin the Third, Secret of Mamo, Roller Games, Sweet Home, and the first season of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
See, this is about half and half for this list for me, because I'd watch this over Area 88. But I want to watch Lupin the Third more than I would want to watch.
But Secret of Mamo specifically.
True.
Yeah.
I don't like Secret of Mama personally. I think Area 88 and Digimon are the most comparable to me, but everything that I'd rather watch Oedo.
Yeah. Well,
Digimon mostly because it's got ska.
Which also, just to put at a floor, to go over what we have in 9, Fern Gully, Flash Gordon, Mega Man Season 1, Phenomena, the OVA for Sonic, Parts of Darkwater, Soul Brain, Tron, and East 2. I do feel like I'd rather watch Oedo over all of those. So I think probably 8 is our floor. If we go to 7, that's American Gladiators, Fantasy Kaleidoscope, Mortal Kombat, Nick Arcade, Running Man, and East. This one I think is a little bit harder. Because a lot of those I feel, if I were to put a direct comparison, I think East is. But stuff like the Running Man and American Gladiators, I feel like that's getting close to where I'd rather watch other stuff over at Oedo.
Yeah, because it's especially the early episodes of Fantasy Kaleidoscope, I'd watch those over over 0808 way faster.
Yeah, but you're also talking about the whole package.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the first episode is definitely the strongest showing, and the second is the weakest. So like I can understand also that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, as I said, like I personally just forever have a soft spot for this sort of thing, so I'm a little bit biased.
Because I think 7 or 8 is pretty much the perfect average between, like, it's where I'd put it. If I took a look at stuff at 6, that's Labyrinth, Mappy, Space Cobra, Hunt for October, I would put this under Space Cobra in a heartbeat. That's me. Same with Mappy, and I do kind of feel Labyrinth and Hunt for Red October, although I have personal feelings about those films. I still feel like I think they are a better put together package.
You
In
know,
Oedo.
Benton looks a lot like Bowie in
He
Yeah.
doesn't have the
Labyrinth.
package though.
Does not.
You know what? I think that's for the best because it means he also doesn't need to stuff it with potpourri because of the stink.
Yeah.
I would say, I just thought about it. I do appreciate that at no point in the anime do they take Benton's looks and make them an object of derision or scorn. Like the character themselves and their aesthetic isn't there to be made fun of or to disparage. It is who they are, and everybody around them's just like, yeah, no, that's who you are.
I mean, even the sex worker's like, you look cute. You wanna do it? He's like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I'm thinking. Whoop. I don't know what happened there.
Thing to speak, I think.
Oh, what was that?
I'm not familiar with the whoop rank.
I said spoop is certainly a good thing to think.
Yes. Yeah. I love being able to drag and drop in Google Drive in Sheets because it's such a useful thing that I never would use. I'm thinking 7 is probably a good spot for this.
Mm-hmm.
Which puts it right at the top of the good. Kind of the perfect place for this because I think this probably of its kind of ilk of that Wicked City, Demon City, Shinjuku. This definitely I think is the best. God damn it! Stop doing that.
Stop breaking things.
Of those trashy ones, yeah, I would definitely say it is the best of the
Yeah.
bunch.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 7.
Peak trash.
No, I'm not going
7.
to fight this one.
All right. Then I am going to put it at 7. There. I put the photosensitivity. There is some gore, but it's not like really. Oh, actually, I take that back because I'm thinking of the vampire. There's definitely gore.
Yeah, no, there's
It
gore.
literally
Like-
turns into a cloud of teleporting gore.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So
And
I'll
there's the opening of the cyber soldier where a dude literally gets blasted with a psychonetic wave and everything.
And then there was the airlock, and the guy gets sucked out into like a fine red mist.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I meant by a teleporting cloud of gore.
Yeah.
Also, there's that whole desiccated corpse.
Yeah, let's-
Cyber Lich.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Gore plus.
Mhm.
Photosensitivity warning. Definitely put that in. Actually, I think I technically have it. Actually, I think I put it in here just because I was thinking of this when I was doing it. Content tags. Or did I? Excessive profanity. Yes.
Extremely.
It's like
There.
they didn't even have to take a breath because the word "fuck" was a breath to them.
Yep.
No, I think they said shit a bit more, but I'm not quite
Mhm.
sure.
It's a pretty even. It's a lot.
It reminds me a lot of my experience playing Necromunda Hired Gun, which also has a British voice actor who just constantly is swearing.
Also, just realized this is technically the second thing we have attributed with this content label, even though I think there might be other things that might have it. Because the other one we put it on was Die Hard, which what am I doing? Wait, why did I not put that under gems?
Yeah, and I was about to say, you put on Intercut Jibs?
That is retroactively fixed.
Yep.
Would you put under RoboCop?
Uh,
Specific because
I
of the
would.
character.
sure.
I would do it for Red Foreman.
Just leave. God, that's such a. I can't wait for a January where we fix my issue. So yes. Is there anything we want to call out in music, charm, cinematography, storytelling, action, and art?
I did like the opening theme. It was a bit of a bop.
Yeah.
Specifically the Japanese one.
Yeah.
Because for some reason they felt the need to put in like a weird rock opening that's kind of bland for the English release.
I'd also want to call charm as being like your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could also put that under the writing too. Specifically because of the weird translation work.
Yeah. Cinematography was there. The fighting scenes they're not bad, but also I don't think they're really anything standout.
Nah.
They're kind of like the Go-Go 13 scenes, really.
Yeah.
There was some good energy, but nothing like, super amazing.
It was a show that looked fine in motion, and that's kind of the big thing, is it didn't look terrible. Which some of these things can look pretty bad, but this one, yeah. But it's nothing to really write home about either.
Let's see, yay or nay. Oh, actually, we did say the art was pretty good.
Yeah. I think the visual design of the world and everything is pretty good. The buildings, especially some of the shots where you see like the Oedo skyline and everything, it's like, yeah, that's a really neat cyberpunk dystopia you got there.
Yeah, there was also like the flooded ruins of like older Tokyo that they even talked about.
It
had an aesthetic that it did well, and it stuck with it.
Yeah. Anything you want to call out for yay or nay?
Not that I can think of.
Nah.
I got nothing.
All right, I think we might just leave it blank then. Like, I don't think there's really anything specific. It's a decent, like it's not super long. You could argue needless bad cheesiness.
Yeah, to be fair, I would also say simply fun, but yeah.
Yeah. It's cheesy fun, but, that's how things go.
Yeah. All right. I think that's probably good for that then. So, that is Cyber City 08008, which is really fun to say. It's at 7. It's a good.
It's a good.
It's good.
It's a good.
All right. So, before we go, X, or anything you want to plug?
Yeah, the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. And also, please support your local ASPCA. Adopt, don't shop.
All right. Carnival.
Your local mutual aid fund and bail fund.
All right. Risen.
Support your local unions, and Torpo will explain what I may be doing later this evening with his.
That's gonna be in the past.
Oh, true.
It'd be 2 weeks in the past.
You can go watch that YouTube.
You're gonna make a lot of people very disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
All right. Torpo, tell us about your streams and personal stuff.
I mean, twitch.tv/torpotypist and at torpotypist on Twitter. And I would also like to plug the hole in my window in my giant tower because it is rapidly venting atmosphere and I'm worried I'm going to die.
I see. That's a big problem, yeah.
Yes. All right. So next up, we have something that technically it's manga UK. So I mean, it's there. It's part of this kind of thing, but it's a little bit more laid back than this. It's actually one thing that I will actually say about Cyber City 08008, which also is one of the reasons why we're doing it now instead of. I'm hoping in the future this gets fixed. There is a PC Engine CD game that is based on Cyber City 808 that I would love to play if it gets translated. So there's that. The next thing we did, however, we did actually do a game based off of it, and that is Appleseed, which is something that I am particularly interested in because it is one of the Masamune Shiro kind of productions that isn't Ghost in the Shell that I don't think gets the amount of love that it deserves. Because I really like Appleseed. And this is the first animated adaptation of Appleseed. Also the only, like, traditional anime one, because the rest go to 3D for some reason.
It's definitely a different take on transhumanism than Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah. But, yeah. So that'll be next time. So I hope you can tune in for that one, and I hope you have a good whatever time it is when you're watching.
Later.
Later.
If you would like to see the list in which we have ranked every single thing we've done for Media Delta, you can go to r3.ldp.life in your browser. If you would like to watch the sister show that determines what could show up on Media Delta, that's Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can watch it live on Twitch at twitch.tv/LoloToPuzzlo or on YouTube at youtube.ldp.life. If you would like to discuss this episode with others, please join our Discord server by going to discord.ldp.life in your browser, which should give you a link. Thank you again for listening.